Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. How are you doing, Mataji?
Good Prabhuji, thank you.
How is your chanting going on nowadays?
It's better Prabhuji. I have I'm again back to 16 rounds.
Really?
Yeah.
So we hope this time you continue.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We hope this time you continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Seriously, yes, Prabhuji. I'm also very much determined. I don't want to leave it again.
Right.
So.
Srilata Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
You're back from India?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
When did you come?
It's been a month, Prabhuji.
A month. And you are here with us every week, or am I seeing you for a long time?
No, I am here, but I've been really late, Prabhuji, little late.
Oh, you are joining every week. Okay. Maybe that's why I didn't notice. Otherwise, how is your spiritual life going on, Mata?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's going.
How many rounds you are chanting nowadays?
It's
8 rounds. Okay.
16.
Yeah. Thank you, Mata, for your consistency.
Yeah, but in India, I couldn't do it. I was doing here, but to come here, I'm trying to do.
You said in India you could not, but after coming back, you were trying to do 8.
No, 16, Prabhuji.
Can you speak?
I know. You couldn't hear me. My voice is not good. 16, Prabhuji.
You said you are doing 8 rounds now?
16, Prabhuji.
16?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mata. Very nice. Grateful to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Amol Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. How is Naperville?
Yeah, good Prabhuji.
Yeah, now you got a very big temple.
Yeah, it's a big temple now.
Very nice. Sometime I will visit there. I didn't get a chance to come. But
Yeah, sure.
I heard a lot about Radha Shyam Sundar there, right?
Yeah, Radha Shyam.
Very nice.
Nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Radha Bhavani Ji, Srila Prabhupada. I hope you're doing well. We'll start in 2 more minutes. We will wait.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, how are you doing? Padmavati Mataji.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji, fine, Prabhuji.
How is chanting?
Chanting Prabhuji 16 rounds.
Okay, very good. And what about Srinivas Prabhu?
Srinivas Prabhu also doing good, Prabhuji. Presently, he went to Vrindavan Yatra, Prabhuji. Tomorrow he will return.
Vrindavan Yatra with whom?
Here, Abbott's team, Prabhuji. Abbott's temple team went. So
You could not go?
No, Prabhuji. Kids having exams, so I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Okay. Well, when he is there, you will get the benefit of.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Shweta Matri, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, probably we will start in a minute. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadabhayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhurya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Titi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Angum Nangayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we will be covering the 6th chapter today from Shrimad Bhagavatam Canto 1st. The previous chapter described the despondency of Vyasadeva. Despite of writing all the Vedic literatures, he was feeling, at the end of 4th chapter, he was feeling unsatisfied. And he was thinking, probably the reason is I did not glorify the Supreme Lord, or I did not bring out the Supreme Lord in my script, in my writings. Probably that's why I'm dissatisfied. As he was thinking in that way, Narad Muni came on the bank of river Saraswati, and Narad Muni asked him, so are you happy? Are you satisfied? Which Narad Muni also gave hint to Vyasadeva that Guru is aware of the condition of the disciple. He knows what he is going to do. So Vyasadeva, very frankly, it is said one should not hide anything from spiritual master. So Vyasadeva said, please, you know the heart of all living entity, just like the super soul is in the heart of all living entities and is aware of all the conditions. You, like super soul, can enter the heart of all living entities, and you perfectly know the solution. So please help me to understand. Then there were a lot of discussions, long chapter. In essence, Narad Muni said, the scriptures which does not glorify the Lord are places of pilgrimage for the crows-like personality. The crows are attracted to garbage because they don't glorify the name, fame, form, qualities, pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for the swan-like personalities, they are very much attracted to the books that contains the glorification of the Lord, even though such books may be imperfectly composed. And he told the flaw of Vyasadeva. One is he did not specifically glorify the Supreme Lord. And second, people are already having material desires, and Vyasadeva, in the name of bona fide scriptures, have given the people the way to fulfill their material desires. Through Rigved, you can do yagya to Indra and get water. And all the devatas can fulfill many, many desires, what sacrifice to do, how to do. All these are written in Vedas, how to worship the demigods for a particular material desire and what benefit you will get from them. So people are already materialistic, and you have given them the way to become more materialistic through demigod worship. And you did not bring out the Supreme Lord specifically. Therefore, compose. And then Narad Muni glorified Vyasadeva that you can see past, present, future. You are the incarnation of the Lord. So the Lord will make his appearance in your mind. Now, write a scripture, and whatever you meditate on the actual pastimes of the Lord and actual form and actual glories of the Lord that are already being revealed to you from within your mind, just be open, bring that out. And that will be beneficial for you and beneficial for all living entities. And after giving these beautiful instructions, then Narad Muni left. Then Sutta Goswami, he addresses to the sages and he says, O Sonaka and all the dear sages. Sutta Goswami says, the cause of misery in this material world is our karma, is our activities. Now, the same activities, when directed in the service of the Lord, will relieve us from all miseries. And so the Goswami gives the example of milk. Prabhupada gives in the purport, but Sutta Goswami says, just like a medicine, just like a substance which is a cause of a disease, when medically applied, can become the cause of relieving one from the disease. Prabhupada gives an example. Milk, excessive milk causes indigestion, but the same milk in the form of a yogurt or curd can cure one's digestion. So milk causes digestion, and milk in this form of yogurt causes yourselves from indigestion. So likewise, karma is the cause of misery, karma is the cause of bondage. But when the same karma or when the same activities are directed towards the Supreme Lord, the same activities become the cause of our bondage. Our activities is the cause of bondage, and when our activities are directed towards Krishna, same activities will help us to come out of the cycle of birth and death. And same karma puts us in the cycle of birth and death. So this is how the importance of karma Sutta Goswami describes. And then we come to the beginning of 6th chapter. So 6th chapter begins with Vyasadeva asked a few questions from Narad Muni. Vyasadeva said, so Narad Muni did not, he didn't depart yet, but Narad Muni stopped speaking. And then Vyasadeva said, oh dear Narada, after the Bhakti Vedantas left, because they came only for 4 months of Chaturmas. And we also saw in the last chapter how Narad Muni was self-controlled and disciplined. He would serve the sages. He ate the remnants of the sages. He would hear from the sages. By eating the remnants, his sins were destroyed. By hearing, his heart became purified. And by hearing more and more in association of the devotees, he developed an attraction to hear more of Krishna. He became completely absorbed, very, very focused, very advanced in the spiritual life. And then the moment come that it was Chaturmas was over, the 4 month of rainy season was over. So the Bhakti Vedantas, they departed, and before leaving, they initiated Narad Muni and they gave him confidential instructions on how to remember the Lord, how to practice Bhakti Yoga. And then Narad Muni stopped speaking. Then Vyasadeva said, now you are, what did you do after the Bhakti Vedantas left? How did you live the remainder of your life? How long did you live? How did you got this birth that you are right now, the transcendental body where you can travel anywhere? How did you appear as a son of Brahma? So this is also a sign of inquisitiveness. A devotee should be inquisitive. We see Parikshit Maharaj, we see Sonak Rishi, we see Vyasadeva. There are multiple layers of conversation that happens in Bhagavatam, and they are always in the form of questions. In Bhagavad Gita also, most of the chapters begin with Arjuna's question. Can you explain what is Brahman? Can you explain, should I worship? Can you explain what is Yagya? Can you explain what is, how can one remember at the time of death? Can you explain the 3 modes? Can you explain how a person in 3 modes looks like? Can you explain how a person can come out of 3 modes? Various question answers. So Vyasadeva asked many questions. So then Narad Muni again begins the remainder of the story. And Narad Muni said, so Vyasadeva, after they left, my mother bound me with strong affection. She would try very hard to maintain me, but she was unable to do so properly because she was a maid servant. So she wanted to do everything for me, but because she was limited, in her financial capacity, and because she was the only mother, she was very much engaged. So she wanted to give the whole world to me, but she could not. Then Narad Muni said, "We are all puppets in the hand of puppeteer. We are all like wooden dolls." In other words, a puppet moves how Krishna or how the puppeteer makes him dance. That's how a puppet dance. Although my mother had specific desires, how she wants to take care of me, but she could not. Likewise, we also may want to do so many things, but we can do only what Krishna sanctions. We may have many desires, we may want to fulfill, but if Krishna sanction is not there, it's not going to happen. And then Narad Muni said she actually bound me with strong ropes of affection. And then one night, when she went to milk the cow, it so happened that she was bitten by a snake, and she left the body spontaneously. And when Narad Muni, he was only 5 years old, he found the death of his mother. He took that as the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And then he took a stick and he started walking towards the north. He left that place. Now, naturally, he was staying with his mother. He became fearless, because one of the quality of a devotee who becomes purified is he becomes fearless. So he has no concern about future. He took it as Lord's mercy because he has a deep desire to go deeper in his remembrance of the Lord. But because he was bound by affection by his mother and various things he had to do, he could not try in that direction. Another thing is the Lord is sitting in our heart, and when the Lord becomes active, then Lord gives intelligence from within. He becomes active in our heart. So he gave that feeling to Narad Muni that this is my mercy. Now you go ahead and freely try to completely absorb in me only. So now this is the thought that came from within Narad Muni. So Narad Muni saw that as the mercy of the Lord, and he started walking towards the north. The Narad Muni describes he passed through cities, villages, farms, jungles, amidst wild animals, forests, lakes and rivers. So various places he was just continuously walking towards the north. The significance of walking towards the north is people would go towards the north, which points to Himalayas, for a life of seclusion and absorption. We see that the Pandavas, when they heard the departure of Krishna, Narad Muni told Yudhishthira Maharaj, you can continue taking care of the kingdom as long as Krishna is on the planet. And when Arjuna returned with the news that Krishna has left the planet, the Pandavas, they retired immediately and one by one, without telling anybody. They made their own decision, including Kunti and Draupadi, and they all started walking towards the north. We see Maharaj Parikshit, when he heard the news, he also went on the bank of the river, desiring to appropriately live the last 7 days in absorption. And we see the same with Narad Muni, we see the same with Pandavas. So as he was walking, after a long walk, he became very exhausted. And he took a bath in a river. Then he came out, he was feeling very tired. He drank some cold water. He felt relieved of his exhaustion. And it was a very sunny day. So he sat under the shade of a banyan tree. Banyan tree is like vast. So he sat under the shade, and then he closed his eyes and he started remembering the Lord. As explained by his spiritual master, how to remember the Lord. And as he started remembering the Lord, his hankering to see the Lord became infinite by the mercy of the Lord. By the mercy of the Lord only can we develop the hankering to remember, a hankering to chant. When he became overwhelmed, and at that peak of his hankering, the Lord appeared on the seat of the lotus of his heart. And when it is described, when Narad Muni saw the Lord in his four-handed Vishnu form, when he saw the Lord on the lotus of his heart, three functions of his mind became enlightened. And three functions of the mind are eyes, nose, and ears. The ears were hearing the ankle bells of the Lord. The nose was smelling the fragrance of the Lord. The eyes were envisioning the beautiful form of the Lord. In this way, all his limbs were separately enlightened. So it was not just a remembrance, but it was a real experience. He could smell, he could hear, he could see, he could completely absorb in the form of the Lord. And Narad Muni says, tears rolled down my cheeks unstoppably as I was envisioning. And suddenly the Lord disappeared. And when the Lord disappeared, Narad Muni became very disturbed. He opened his eyes, he closed his eyes, tried very hard to remember the Lord. And no matter using the same instructions given by his Gurudev, when he was trying to practice bhakti through the same instruction, this time the Lord wouldn't appear again. And Narad Muni became very disturbed. At that time, Narad Muni heard a voice, and the Lord spoke. He could hear, the ears were enlivened, but he could not smell him, he could not see him, he could not remember him within his heart. But he heard the voice, and the voice said, "Oh, my dear child Narada." Narada Muni was only 5 years old. "Oh, my dear child Narada, I regret to say you won't be able to see me again in this life. I have shown myself to you just so that you can increase your hankering towards me. By hankering for me, one becomes free from all material desires. When one is in immature stage of devotion, one cannot see me. If one is tainted by any material desire, so one will not be able to see me. But by showing, but my mercy, this was my mercy, so as to increase your faith towards me. But if you continue like this, by after the end of this life, you will constantly be able to see me. Those who render service to me or to my devotees, even for a very small amount of time, very quickly becomes attracted to me. This is the Lord telling to Narad Muni. Those who render service to me or to my devotees, even for a very short time, immediately becomes very much attracted to me. Then the Lord Vishnu also told Narada that the bhakti is not annihilated by time. See, time is a destroying factor. Arjuna asks Krishna, who are you? Krishna says, I am time. I have come to destroy everyone. Over time, none of us will be in these physical bodies. None of the things around us are eternal. Everything are destroyed by time. Over a period of time, everything has an expiration date. But bhakti is not affected by time. Bhakti is transcendental. Soul is transcendental. Bhagavan is transcendental. No matter what happens in our life, our investment in bhakti is eternal. Whatever progress, every single mantra we chant, whatever progress we make, the benefit is eternal. So Narada Muni told, so Lord Vishnu told Narada that you will not be able to see me. With material tails, nobody can see me. But I have shown myself to you in order to increase your hankering towards me. By hankering for me, one quickly becomes free from material desires. And by rendering little service to me or my devotees, one immediately becomes attracted to me. And after giving these beautiful instructions, the Lord disappeared. And Narad Muni, now he knew he won't be able to see the Lord. But because he experienced the Lord, his hankering increased many folds. And now he was not interested in anything other than living his life. Then Narad Muni said he lived his life continuously chanting the holy name of the Lord and glorifying the fame of the Lord. Once Narad Muni got a real experience, I mean, for us the real experience may be once in a while absorption in holy names. Especially when we chant in association of devotees, we experience bhakti. And those experiences, they increase our faith. And that faith keeps us going. So Narad Muni had a real experience of experiencing Krishna. Not only a vision, but even his ears heard the voice, his nose smelled, his eyes could see. A very, very deep experience. He continuously chanted because he understood that this is the most important goal to attain, or I should not waste my time. I should properly utilize my time to attain perfection in this life. That's why without wasting a moment, he continuously chanted and he glorified the fame of the Lord. Means whoever he saw, he would glorify the Lord. This is called sharing Krishna, preaching. By sharing Krishna with others, we become enlightened in our own Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, whoever you always take the name of Krishna, and whoever you meet, you tell them about Krishna. By these two things, you will attain Krishna. By continuously chanting, and by whoever you meet, you discuss about Krishna. Sharing Krishna. By sharing, we receive. So Narad Muni did that. He was completely absorbed. He remained humble. He remained non-envious of all living entities. And then gradually, over a period of time, the time came and he left the body. He spent his whole life continuously chanting and preaching and walking and being absorbed in Krishna. Prabhupada also says in one of the purports, Narad Muni did not have any material desires. Narad Muni already attained prema But prema further increased by separation. Separation increases the love and increases our hankering toward Krishna more. And then when Narad Muni left the body, it is given the example of the sound and the lightning of a thunder appear simultaneously. When lightning comes, you can see and you can hear. So likewise, when he gave up his body, simultaneously he gave up the body and he got a transcendental body of a spacemanship. He can now travel anywhere. Then Narad Muni said, then at the end of my life, when I ended, it was a time for universal destruction. And I entered into the body of Mahavishnu. And after 1000 yuga cycles, when again creation began, then I came out from the body of Lord and I appeared as a son of Brahma. And the Lord gave me this musical instrument called Veena. And now, whenever I play the Veena, the experience I got of seeing the Lord, I can constantly see him as soon as I remember him. As soon as I sing, play, he makes his complete appearance and complete experience within the region of my heart. And that's why I'm standing in front of you. And then Narad Muni gave the final instructions. This is the last chapter of this particular pastime. And he gave the final instruction. And he says, the remedy for people who are full of anxieties, the remedy for people who are full of anxieties in the cycle of birth and death is to hear about Krishna. So Vyasadeva, you should write a scripture. By hearing, people in Kali Yuga will become free from all the miseries, anxieties, and become free from the cycle of birth and death. Constant hearing and glorifying. It is, we see any form of devotional services absolute, whether it is hearing or whether it is chanting or speaking. So Vyasadeva, based on this instruction, wrote complete glorification of Krishna and his pure devotees. And by absorbing ourselves in Hari Katha, which is Shrimad Bhagavatam, we can free ourselves from the anxieties of this world. By absorbing in Shrimad Bhagavatam, we can forget the temporary nature of this world and become absorbed and gradually break the cycle of birth and death and attain pure divine absorption and love for the Lord through the Shrimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so I believe that's the summary of the chapter. Now we will read one verse. I was thinking one verse we can read every week apart from summarizing the chapter. Etadhyatura chittanam matra sparshechaya muhu bhava sindhu prabodhishto hari charyanu varnanam. This he certainly atura chittanam, of those whose minds are always full of cares and anxieties. Matra, object of sense enjoyment. Sparsha, senses. Ichhaya, by desires. Muhu, always. Bhava Sindhu, the ocean of nations. Plavaha, both. Drishta, experienced. Haricharya, activities of Hari, the personality of Godhead. Anu Varnanam, constant recitation. It is personally experienced by me. This is Narad Muni saying in his own experience. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of chaos and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nations on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Once again, Narad Muni is telling it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of chaos and anxieties, and why they are so much anxiety? Because of desiring contact of the senses, because they're constantly desiring sense gratification. Their mind is always full of anxiety and cares. Contact of the senses with their objects. Even those people who are full of anxiety because of so many material desires, by trying to contact the senses with the object of the senses, they can cross the ocean of nations. They are in so much anxiety, or they are so much hankering for the senses to come in contact with the sense object, because they are on a bodily platform. They are identifying themselves with the mind and the senses, and they are in the illusion that they can be happy by making their mind and senses happy. And that's why on a bodily platform, being on a bodily platform, they are constantly hankering. And this is because of their ignorance, because they cannot understand their true nature. So they can cross over the ocean of nations or ocean of ignorance that they are living in. It is very difficult to not associate ourselves with the mind. Relatively easy to understand, yes, I'm not this body. But very difficult when the mind hankers for something, to be able to see that this is the mind hankering, I'm not this body, I'm not the mind. We naturally tend to associate or identify ourselves with the mind and think this is what is my desire, this is what I want. So this is again the bodily conception of life, which is arising from the ocean of ignorance. So they can cross this ocean on a most suitable boat. So naturally, it's an ocean of ignorance, but to cross an ocean, you need a boat. And the boat is the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. So this is a solution to Vyasadeva, final instruction to Vyasadeva. Write something so people can read, and you will also read when you write. And this will help one cross over the complete identification with the mind and hankering because of sense object, and make one satisfied and peaceful within the heart. The symptoms of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Always. Either we are thinking something or we are talking about something. We are doing something. We cannot be doing nothing at a moment. We are doing something always. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about the subjects which satisfy their senses. Generally, they think about some kind of sense gratification and discuss about similar things. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full of chaos and anxieties. This is called Maya, or that which is not. It is called Maya. Maya is illusion, because they think they are going to give them complete internal satisfaction. But then, because of their hankering, they only become more and more disturbed, dissatisfied. And this is called Maya because the promises and the results don't match. This is called Maya, or that which is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. Maya, sense object cannot give them satisfaction, but the feeling that this will make me happy, will make me satisfaction, this is called Maya. So Narad Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. People have to speak, people have to think. But usually people speak and think about sense gratification. So only if the subject matter is changed to Krishna, then they can be happy. But if they think and discuss about the object of sense gratification, it will only bring them distress and misery. No one can check the thinking activities of a living entity, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. We are always thinking, and if our thinking becomes deeper, then we feel those interaction of the senses with the sense object. And then we may even develop a desire. Oh, this is how I want to enjoy my life, how I want to enjoy my senses. No one can check. This is natural progression. Begins with thinking, and then we feel being in that situation, and then we will develop desires of how to be in that situation, and Maya, because this is the way I become happy. So no one can check the thinking activities of a living entity, nor the feeling, willing, and the working process. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. If it is diverted from the senses and the object of sense gratification to Krishna, then one can become actually happy. That requires proper use of intellect, that requires good association, that requires endeavor in the right direction, which is taking shelter of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord himself. Instead of relishing activities of cinema artists in India, especially, people are very much eager to see what the cinema artists are doing, whom they are meeting, what they are talking, and various other Prajalpa. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artist, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the gopis and Lakshmis. Instead of thinking how they are relishing, we can think of how Krishna enjoys. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by his causeless mercy, descends to the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of worldly men. So Krishna's pastimes and the worldly men pastimes, they look similar. This is causeless mercy of the Lord. He descends to the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly men, but at the same time extraordinarily, because he is almighty. He does so for the benefit of all the conditioned souls, so they can turn their attention to transcendence. Instead of thinking about others, think about Krishna. By doing so, by turning their attention towards the pastimes of Krishna, by doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of ignorance, the source of all misery. The source of all misery is the desire to enjoy. Is the conception of happiness lies in sense gratification. And this is ignorance, or this is nascence, or this is the product of illusory energy called Maya. Because the result is contrary. It is anxiety, it is distress, it is hankering, lack of satisfaction. So this is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Sri Narada Muni, and we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. We will have the same experience also. We can try the ignorance path, and we can try eating about Krishna path. And we can, if we are intelligent, we can see the experience when I think, feel, will, sense gratification, and if I become absorbed in hearing about Krishna or glorifying Krishna. One is very satisfying and one simply reacts with hankering, anxiety, and disturbances. So that's why after this final instruction, Vyasadeva wrote Shrimad Bhagavatam. the Purana Amala. So with this, we come to the end of this pastime of Narad Muni, and the next story will begin. I think it's connected to Ashwatthama. Next week. Okay. Are there any discussions? Any questions?
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Sorry, you please go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
Please go ahead, Mataji. Okay, you tell.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you for such a wonderful class. This question always, not a question, but a query keeps coming in my mind that we have been doing the reading seva of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Now, Srila Vyasadeva is also the incarnation of the Lord, literal incarnation of the Lord. Is it just a pastime that he's forgetting? He's supposed to write things like this or like that? Or is he actually experiencing all these things? Like how Narada Muni has to come and tell him, this is this is what you're supposed to write. That is why you're feeling dissatisfaction. Is this also a part of a pastime?
It's actually, Vyasadeva was actually not, I mean, he is literary incarnation, means empowered to write. But unless one meets one guru, one lives in ignorance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by his example, till the time he met his spiritual master, Ishwar Puri, he was acting like a scholar. He was not much interested in bhakti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, till he came across Chaitanya Charitamrita, he acted like looking into Christianity and acted like a seeker. But I mean, one is Krishna himself, one is pure devotees. But emphasizing, we also, when we meet our spiritual master, we reawaken our devotion from where we left out in the past life. But till that time, we live in ignorance. And that's why we say, Om Agyante Benandasya. I was born in ignorance, but my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances on time. Is it all right?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Makes sense. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Padmavati Mata, do you have something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam. Till now, we heard about this Narada Muni story so many times, but every time you explain very nicely, Prabhuji, with new points. Actually, my question is, now in Navaratri is going right, Prabhuji. So in this Navaratri, actually my parents will do this Navaratri puja every day, one Devi avatar, and they do Lakshmi puja morning and evening. So can we suggest them, instead of doing that puja, do 1 hour morning and evening chanting? Will that be wrong, Prabhuji?
Yeah, they will be disturbed, actually. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't disturb the faith of others. So, what we can do is, we can be like Prabhupada says, don't ask them to leave anything. You can say, this is very nice, you're doing this. You can chant Krishna's name also for 10 more minutes. But don't disturb them. Gradually, as their faith in Krishna grows, they will naturally understand the importance of worshipping Krishna and not worshipping the devatas, the demigods. Let them come from conviction. Because if you stop them from doing what they are doing, they'll become against ISKCON. And they will harbor some bad feelings for you also. So gradually give them Krishna.
Okay. Actually, in Gopi's pastime, for Krishna, they will do puja for Katyayani Mata, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
So,
But that Katyayani is Yoga Maya. It's not Durga. Yoga
okay.
Maya is Krishna's direct internal Shakti.
Okay, Prabhuji.
And also worshipping demigods on a separate note. Worshipping demigods for Krishna is okay. Like, Worshipping demigods for Krishna is okay. Worshipping Ganesh to remove obstacles to Krishna bhakti is okay. So those kind of things are okay. Prabhupada said there is no need, but if you centered it around Krishna, it's all right.
Okay, Babaji. Actually, I trying to explain them that even Durga Mata, everything emanates from Radha Rani only. So why don't you directly, if you chant the holy names instead of doing puja, it will be very nice. But how to convince them? I am not getting the point, Babaji.
Yeah, it won't work for long, Mataji, because what gives us faith, one is our divine experiences, association, kirtans, gradual understanding of philosophy, and then we are where we are. So it's very difficult. I mean, it won't be possible for us to give them our faith and conviction to them today or tomorrow. But gradual association of devotees, understanding of Shastra will gradually bring them up. But if we have to give them something now, then add Krishna in their life a little bit. That is sustainable.
Okay.
You can say, but you are doing very nice. You are all very pious people. Please chant Krishna's name also. That will work.
Okay, Babaji. Thank you.
Thank you. Basically, don't attack them, because if you attack them, they won't listen to you tomorrow. So don't attack them.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you. We'll end
Thank you,
here.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have two questions, Prabhuji.
I will take 100% your question, but if I log out because my battery may die, then we'll talk on phone. But till the time laptop is alive, go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji. So, yeah, continuation to that one, Prabhuji, like for Dasara time, like I have that question on my mind from so long years. So it says like Durga Mata, but like all the forms that we worship on different 9 days, it's connected to Lakshmi. So how both are connected, Prabhuji? That was haunting on my mind from so many years. Dhairya Lakshmi, Santan Lakshmi, some name of Lakshmi, but like we do say we are worshipping Navaratri for Mother Durga. Though we are worshipping like different forms of Lakshmi on different 9 days, right, Prabhuji? So,
I mean, like Vaishno Devi, most of them are forms of Durga. The 9 Shakti Peeths, they are 9 forms of Durga Mataji. Now, they may be connected to Lakshmi. I mean, I don't think I'm the right person to answer. I'm not very educated in this Durga Tattva or Navratri Tattva. My understanding was also Durga earlier. I will double check. But even if it is Lakshmi, still people worship Lakshmi for wealth. So that is still not recommended. They don't worship Lakshmi for devotion. I don't think anybody in India worships Mataji. So, like, we say people worship Lakshmi but not Narayan. So it's still the same disease. Is it all right?
yes, Prabhuji. Yes, second one, Prabhuji, like until like we connected to Guru, so we don't reawaken our spirituality from our previous life or from eternity, like wherever we stop and disconnected from Krishna. So is that meaning that like is that formal initiation, Prabhuji, or like suppose if I
Yes.
connected to one Guru?
Yes. You met a devotee, you will reawaken. Formal initiation can happen eventually. But you will reawaken your dormant love as soon as you come to knowledge and start chanting. You will reawaken.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Alkamata, you have a question. I will try, but I don't know if my laptop will support. But go ahead.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, what is one quickest way to purify our heart and to not have negative thoughts.
Looks like the battery died. Prabhuji was already saying that. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Well, I can still hear for now.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yuke's thought is, as per today's verse, reading Bhagavatam will help us give a transcendental purview or transcendental vision of looking at things.
Mhm.
You are saying easiest way to not find fault in others?
Quickest way to purify our hearts, yeah, that includes that also, and just not have any negative thoughts. Yeah, any form.
Any form of bhakti yoga. It can be chanting, it can be seeing the deity form, it can be kirtan, it can be reading Shrimad Bhagavatam. Just the path of bhakti will purify. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically emphasized chanting. He says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the heart is purified by Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana, but it is gradual. You will see, like 10 years, you may see some change, and gradually becomes more and more fast through a period of time, but it is gradual, Mataji. But the path is foolproof. Just stick to Bhakti Yoga.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Regarding immediate things of seeing fault or whatever is now association, using our intelligence, hearing a lecture on a particular thing that we are struggling, praying to Krishna on those instances. These are the ways we come out quickly from those phases, but the original actual heart purification will take some time. But we can come out those emotions that may not be very healthy. Go to YouTube, search a lecture on that particular topic and type ISKCON. And by hearing, by associating on a higher principle related to our topic, will pacify our heart, and gradually we can continue. Whatever disturbs us here on that topic, that will gradually continue. Eventually, bhakti will purify completely.
So, okay. So immediate solution is hearing some lecture on that topic, and other than that, all the other things, chanting or reading Bhagavatam, they are equally beneficial.
They will eventually fully purify the heart. But the thing is, I may have very high emotion now and I'm not able to overcome them. Then to pacify my current ups and downs, this will help. Hearing, because in hearing, we are associating on a related topic for very higher consciousness, very higher principles. They will be very convincing. And immediately I'll be like, yes, yes, yes. And we'll get strength to walk a little more. We are walking on path of bhakti, but the disturbances are pacified by the Shravana.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And with pranam.
Vanchakalpatarudrisha kripa sindhube eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Dhanvat pranam. Prabhuji's Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one
Dhanvat
question.
pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Dhanvat
Krishna.
pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanvat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat pranam.
Dhanvat
Prabhuji, I have
pranam.
one. If you have a
I mean, if laptop allows, go ahead. I don't mind.
Okay. Prabhuji, I heard today in morning Bhagavatam class from Raja Bihari Prabhu that it is good to meditate on 4 signs on Krishna's lotus feet. So, is there any significance which we can understand so that it's easy for us to understand and meditate accordingly?
You mean the signs on Krishna's lotus feet?
Yes.
Okay, you can search, Mataji, it's there. You can search the symbols on Krishna's lotus feet and what do they represent. They are highly recommended by our acharyas, and each symbol had a particular significance. It's a form of meditation. But it is very nice. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, by remembering lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna's pastime will appear in our heart, and all the anarthas will go away. So it's very nice.
Prabhuji, without knowing those, say example, sign of umbrella, sign of creeper, I see, like, how can we understand, Prabhuji? Like, sorry to say, Prabhuji, like, my desire is, like, if we know, like, for all the signs, so maybe when we meditate, like, we can remember the past times.
Well, one way is, at some point of time we can discuss those signs. Another way is, you can go and search and you can say ISKCON, Krishna's lotus feet, symbols, and what do they represent. There are many articles on them, and that is also one way to get those understanding.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. For me, especially, like, as long as I hear, at least I can remember something, Prabhuji. The thing is, like, Shama Kishore Prabhuji introduced that to our kids. So when I was associating with Anish on the class, I get to know the lotus feet of some of the symbols of Nityananda Prabhu. Prabhuji encouraged, like, open that lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu and then try to chant. So he did for some days, Prabhuji, but like for some of them, altar symbol and all, like.
Yeah,
so I'm seeing, but like, not knowing anything more.
Okay, sometime in future we can discuss Krishna's lotus feet. All right.
Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji. Like,
okay.
If it permits. So like for some people, Prabhuji, like they do worship, follow like any, say example, I'm saying Prabhuji, Navaratri and Ramanavami and all, like with some affection, but like if they don't have any material desires, probably, so does they eventually connect them to bhakti?
Yes, if they worship without material desire Ram, great. Without material desire Lakshmi, usually it does not happen. Usually, because Krishna says, Navratra also people will have some mannat. Usually, Krishna says people worship demigods out of material desires. So it's less, very, very rare that people are doing. If they're worshipping, I have seen people worshipping Hanuman out of devotion, Ram out of devotion, but Lakshmi with a motive, generally. But if it is without material desire, it is a worship in mode of goodness. Eventually, that will bring them to bhakti. Yes.
Yeah, especially like I noticed that from my family and so many members around that, like Prabhuji, like for Ramanavami and all, like they do like really feel that and then performs or attend that, but I don't know what's the so they feel like some happiness, that's why they do it, and then they keep on continuing for every year, but like how do they improve? Okay, I understand.
Ram Navami is great, Mataji. Ram is Swayam Bhagavan. Ram Navami, the feeling is natural because we are part and parcel of Krishna. And Ram Krishna, Ram is avatar. So great. Worshipping Ram Navami, Hanuman, or those worshipping just, and all, obviously Ram and Hanuman, or they are not demigods. Hanuman is a pure devotee. So I think that's great. And that they're already doing bhakti, they may not be doing it systematically. They may not be doing it regularly, but that will increase their sukriti to eventually come and take up the path very seriously. But that is bhakti.
Yeah, some people, Prabhuji, like though they see the picture in anybody's home, they see that like Krishna himself, Lord Ram himself, like by seeing them, their devotion, like, so how can they, meaning that Prabhuji, like I compare that, like I don't have anything, like, so by mercy of you and all, like introduce like how they are not knowing and how when they will get influenced by process of
Association method.
association. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji. Dhanyavad
Thank you
pranam.
very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Danvat pranam.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.